Next up, we're going to take a look at just a prop inside of this tile set. We have a little building structure that's going to be in the background that we can walk past, or whether we have it behind the player or in front of the player. By default, we'll probably put it behind the player. We have the block tile again by default right here. This is all we really need. So let's go in and we'll just give it a quick name. Our general settings, again, we can offset this, let's say, to about 2, and that way it's going to put it back behind. We don't really need to worry about frames per second because this isn't an animated thing. We do need to select what thumbnail image, and if you don't select a thumbnail image, by default it's just going to choose the first image in your list. Rotation and scale, this is actually a little bit larger of an object, so let's go ahead and scale this guy up some. We'll scale him to about 30 for the horizontal and the vertical. And then we can go into our collider. We're going to turn our collider off because we don't really want to go on that object. And we'll take our point and our clamp, and then that gets our object basically set up and ready to go. If we were going to do a collider on there, we could bump up our grid by clicking on our grid so we can get in there and do a little more refinement. We could also left click on the edge and give ourselves more points to work with. We could also use our auto setup, and it's going to automatically create that for us based on the image. Because we don't have the collider in there, we don't need to worry about it though. Alright, so that gets that prop set up, and we can go ahead and move on to our next prop. So we have a sign prop right here, and this one's just going to be a sign. We're not going to have anything extra pop up. It's just, again, something to decorate the scene for this. So we have our block set up here. We can give ourselves a title. And where do we want this? Maybe to pop out a little bit more into the foreground. So we'll do an image offset there. And then we'll set our thumbnail. This default should be just fine for us. We're going to turn the collider off on that. And that should get us just what we need. Okay, and that gets us a couple of those scene props. And then the next thing we'll move on to is our trees, our palm trees.